We've talked a lot about what to sell and who to sell it to. Now let's shift gears into the real nuts and bolts of actually making your product or completing your service. This is the operational side, the production decisions. Where do you even start with that?
It often starts with one of the most fundamental decisions you'll make, choosing your place of business, your location. The best location is one that allows your enterprise to produce and sell to its customers at the lowest possible cost overall. This usually means locating near your target market to minimize delivery and transportation expenses, which might let you offer lower prices. It also means being near your sources of materials, labor, power, water, all the things that contribute to keeping your production costs down. It's all about strategic placement for efficiency.
Okay, once you have the location sorted, how do you actually arrange the space inside? What's important about the layout?
The guide distinguishes between two main types of layouts. There's a process layout, which is designed for businesses producing diverse products or services. Here, machines and equipment are grouped by function. Think of an auto repair shop where different bays handle engine work, body work, painting, etc. Then there's a product layout. This is more for mass production, where machines are arranged in a sequential assembly line for maybe just one or a few very similar products, like in a bottling plant. The choice depends entirely on the nature of your specific business and what you're trying to optimize, flexibility or sheer volume.
And for businesses that have a storefront, like a retail shop, is there a specific art to designing the display window? It seems like it's more than just randomly putting things out there.
Oh, there absolutely is. For retail, that display window is a critical marketing tool. It really needs to reflect the tastes and attitudes of your specific target market. You should change displays frequently to keep things fresh, maybe use themes that coordinate with holidays or special local events. Crucially, ensure you have sufficient stock of the items you're featuring on display. Nothing worse than seeing something great and finding it sold out. Prepare all your materials, merchandise, stands, signs ahead of time, and always use attractive and harmonious color combinations. It's really about inviting customers in visually, making an immediate impact that entices them to step inside and buy.
Beyond the visual appeal, what about the actual machines and equipment you need to do the work? What factors should entrepreneurs consider beyond just does it turn on and work?
Your choice of machines and equipment directly impacts your overall profitability. It affects your costs, your productivity, your product quality, and ultimately your revenues. So it's a big decision. You need to carefully consider the operating characteristics of the machine, what's its intended function, how does it fit into your overall process. Also, thoroughly evaluate the support you'll get from the supplier, things like installation help, warranty coverage, and ongoing maintenance service.
Does it always have to be brand new?
Not necessarily, and here's a key insight from the guide. You don't always have to buy brand new. Other options include purchasing secondhand equipment, which can save a lot of capital. You could also consider leasing equipment or even subcontracting certain parts of your production process to another business to avoid buying expensive machinery altogether, especially at the start. Each option has pros and cons that need careful study based on cost effectiveness and how you plan to scale.
Managing all the physical goods, raw materials, finished products sounds like a constant juggling act. What's the secret to effective inventory control? How do you avoid having way too much stuff sitting around, or worse, running out?
Inventory control is absolutely crucial, mainly for managing your working capital effectively. The goal is basically to operate efficiently with the least amount of stock necessary. You want to avoid having too much inventory because that ties up your precious capital and goods can deteriorate, like fabrics getting stained or flour getting lumpy. But you also desperately want to avoid having too little, which can halt your production entirely or lead to lost sales if a customer wants something and you've run out.
So how do you find that sweet spot?
Tips include really knowing which goods sell fast and which sell slow, regularly checking your stock levels, physical counts, and arranging everything properly so it's easy to count and access.
And how do you figure out how much to keep on hand?
Well, you need to distinguish between your basic stock goods, things used or sold regularly at a fairly constant rate, and seasonal goods, where demand fluctuates wildly. To control inventory effectively, you need to know when to order, how often to order, and how much to order each time. The guide provides a useful concept here: the reorder level, and incorporating a safety stock. For instance, if it takes you, say, 2 weeks to get new stock delivered, and you typically sell 50 units per week, Your basic reorder level is 100 units, 2 weeks by 50 units a week.
Okay, so order when you hit 100.
Maybe a bit higher, just to be safe. You'd add a safety stock, perhaps half the reserve stock, so another 50 units, in this case, bringing your actual reorder point to 150 units. It's about having just enough buffer to meet demand reliably without tying up excessive cash in stock just sitting there.
That makes sense. And once you're actually producing, how do you ensure consistency and quality? It's one thing to make something once, but another challenge entirely to make it well every single time.
That falls under the umbrella of production planning and control. This involves translating your sales forecasts into detailed production plans, figuring out the necessary resources, manpower, and schedules, often looking ahead maybe 12 months. Quality control within this is paramount. You absolutely must regularly inspect for quality at various stages, conduct adequate tests, maintain your machines properly, check the quality of incoming raw materials, provide really clear instructions and training to your workers, maybe offer incentives for quality work, and, importantly, hold workers accountable for defects. The goal is to detect any bad processes or substandard output immediately and ensure your product or service consistently meets or exceeds customer specifications and expectations. It's about building quality into every single step of the process, not just inspecting at the end.
We've covered it.
Woke up tracing lines on the window pane. Thought the world outside was just a driving rain. Felt like flotsam on an endless churning tide. Just a passenger, nowhere left to hide. Blame the stars, the forecast, and the twist of fate. Waited for a sign that always came too late. Every shadow seemed to stretch beyond my control. A whisper telling me I'd never reach my goal. But then the quiet hum started deep inside, and knowing rhythm when my doubt into the thoughts I sent. A tiny spark, a fundamental shift inherent.